Hey guys, I'm doing way down here. Welcome. Look, I got my work shirt on. It's not getting much work out of it though. But anyhow, you see my ear is still coming along. Do you see this? Oh my goodness. See, I'm so dyslexic. I'm pointing and going the wrong freaking directions. Ow. Ow. Can you see it? Ow. It's pretty nasty. Certainly doesn't hurt as much as it did before. I'm having to keep salve on it. That's why it looks kind of juicy and nasty. But I've kept this side clean. It's the other side I can't see so much. It's dripping down the back of my ear. Well, listen. I haven't been goofing off, all right? I spend a lot of time listening to some pretty interesting things, and it's pretty busy. You can see how the outside works of these things. It's just a little crazy. That takes people off into wrong directions because we see these things as being real, all right? When you look at them as being real and you take on the flesh idea, well, then you're being misguided. But, you know, it's all a part of the works. So I'm over watching and listening to the Bhagavad Gita, all right? It's a wonderful old story that involves everything that we are, that I show you through the code, where, you know, this is a whole different religion, much older than Christianity. And, of course, a lot of people believe there's ties between Jesus and, you know, his teachings over there, you know. Oh, yeah, well, what the hell? You know, there's ties. They're more than just ties. They're like duplicates of these things. They're just talked to differently to a whole different audience. And that's where I find it's kind of interesting because, you know, the number system is working live and well. If you can just go and look up the story of the Bhagavad Gita, you would, as you are listening to it, it's going in you know, chapters and numbers. You can very well understand that this particular part was talking about the body and the human body or something like that when you get to fives. The same way with 7, you can tell that there's something really beautiful happening on 7, you know, or not. The number 9 is a conscious number. All of these numbers, they all show up in here. We don't go, no matter what the number is, like 125 or something like that. There'd be 5, 6, 7, 8. It would be an 8. It would be a control number. And yeah, it would sound control. It'll either be, are you free or you're not free? You know. There are. What I was going to say is, drawing these particular connections of the religions with Jesus, with Buddha. He starts out with these 5 Brahmins, you know, that he finds in the woods. All right, and of course he winds up. He himself is looking for this, so he's tried it here in his own kingdom and it didn't work, and he's trying it now out in these other places. And where he's at right now is he's in the 3rd kingdom, where he has found himself emaciated. He's found himself skinny and thinner and thinner and thinner to the point of almost dead. Before a little damsel comes through the woods, you know, and nurses him back to health. And he comes back alive. Well, this is this idea of the girl coming to the well and restoring you. It's when we come to this place, this well is this 6th chakra. And in the stories, in that last story that we had with Amos, it was the line, it was the plumb line. You come to this is it. You know, this in a lot of things, it's Jacob's ladder and the 6th chakra, and this is where the vine ends. It's cut off from here. No one's allowed on this other side. Now, with Krishna, what Krishna in the Krishna story, in this particular, the Bhagavad Gita, It's about a guy named Arjuna, and he's born about 9 months after Krishna is born. And, you know, I think that the way this is working is kind of like a John the Baptist thing. But the roles here are sort of kind of mixed up, because I think John the Baptist is born first, and he is born 6 months before Jesus. And so these are where things are, you know, matching up all in some strange way, and having to do with water even. This Arjuna is an archer and a bow. All right, and so this is a much older situation, but the bow is about, you know, about being able to shoot and aim hard. Well, the bow is representing a way of getting higher, and if you're an expert archer in these stories, you wind up being, you know, you and God are like, you know, close, because you're always there. You're you and him. In this story, he and Krishna become best friends. And as he is traveling about on his way to do certain things, this Arjuna is the third part of 5 brothers. So there's 2 above and 2 low. And so this is 5 is representing the body. And this is the same 5 that we have whenever Jesus or whenever Buddha finds these 5 in, you know, they teach him how to meditate. How to meditate to the point of dying, that this damsel will come and save you. So in this situation, he and his 5 brothers embark on some kind of interesting quest. All right, and as they as they hide in the woods, pretending to be Brahmins, a series of things happen. But not only that, but the main guy here, Arjuna, goes swimming in the water one night or one day. He's bathing or something like that, and a whirlpool takes him and pulls him down, pulls him under into this lady's hands. When he wakes up again, he's got this beautiful woman standing in front of him. And of course, this is this idea of, you know, he meets up and marries this person in this kind of dream sequence. But we find out that what you're getting here is, this is the works as they're making their way, and they're battling, and he's being, you know, pitted against this and that. He's the greatest in this and the greatest in that, and, you know, he can like look backwards, you know, into something, and, you know, he's just an excellent archer. All right, so as he moves on with his life, as he's moving on in his time, which is the works, I tell you, and he winds up, and once he meets this woman is this idea that this was the well, this is this idea, he came to this point. All right, and so this was like, I pulled you down here. It was me. I'm the one who made the current come down and brought you in front of me. And she loved him because he was the greatest archer, you know, and that he was really handsome. All right, so he had to throw that in. So of these guys, we through these guys, we wind up. They wind up in some kind of, this is because they're at this particular point. This is where you get. Are you sure? This is where God is tempted by something. Whoever's the ruler of the kingdom right now is in charge of these guys, and he rolls some dice. They lose, and they had to go into exile. All right, what about our exiles? They all had to go into exile. Guess how many years? 13 years. Now, that represents a 4, just like 40 days and 40 nights, or 40 years. So they were in exile. They had to be put in exile. And while they were in this exile, they had all these battles going on, because this is that rest. This is that area where you want to go and be a part of God. You want to serve the Lord, as Christopher says, you know, in his story. There's something you got to, you got to be wasted down to nothing. You know, is really what happens. And so in the story, that's what happens. He was chose one of the gods decided I'm going to take that motherfucker down a notch. And it made him, you know, it was about this idea. And I know in reality, there's this idea, there's a bridge between places out there that was made kind of interesting, where it could have been made, like they say in the stories, but thousands upon thousand years ago. But in the story, what he was challenged to build a bridge out of arrows, you know, and that if the monkey, and it was a little monkey says, and if I jump on it, you know, if I can jump on it and it breaks, then, you know, you lose. So the first time he did this, I think he didn't do so well. It's the second time he was just getting ready to jump on it himself. He was just going to give up his life for this because it was humiliating to him. He had never come to anything like this. This challenge brought him. He just couldn't handle it. And as he was just getting ready to jump out onto his little makeshift of bridge, hands came and grabbed him, and it was a little boy. A little boy came. All right. So now what we have in the story is we have a little boy who's going to be his judge. He says, you know, I don't think that you guys have this down right, you know. He says, you know, there may something been wrong here. I want to be the judge here between the two of you. All right. So he's got the bad side and the good side up there. And later on, you find out that this was Krishna come in there. All right. That would be the Jesus spot. And he's coming in. And he's like, you know, so what happens is he gives it another try. And on this third try, the monkey jumps on it, and it jumps, and it doesn't break. He says, well, goddamn. So he says he's going to reveal himself. So this monkey changes himself into something that's gigantic and heavy and monstrous. And, you know, Arjuna was saying, oh, my God, you know, this is definitely going to bust now. Oh, my God. And so, you know, when it came down to it, it never busted. And both guys, Arjuna and this monkey, came back down to its original size, and they both bowed their heads to this boy. And this boy was telling them, he says, you know, how dare you do this to him, make him feel to this point of killing himself and taking his own life? How dare you? This was a great guy that you're doing this to. How dare you? You know? And so what happens is he gets this monkey to say, well, listen, I apologize. I'm sorry to have done this to you. I'm going to strengthen your chariot, and I'm going to be on the flag as you go into this next battle, because there's definitely a next battle for you. We're preparing. So this is the sixth chakra. This is this idea of being tempted. He gave up his life because he was charged to do a certain thing, and he failed. And so he was giving up his life, and right before it happened, he was caught. And he says, not yet. You've got a bigger battle ahead of you. And so this brings us on to the next group of little stories. And this is where I've ended my bit so far. Because in the Bhagavad Gita, this is where they're going to have it out. These two sides, the Pandavas and the Kauravas, they've split the kingdom in half. And one side says, all I want is just enough for me and my 5 family. You know, that's it. This other side said, no, we want it all. We want all of it. So there's this terrible argument between them all. In some way, it's like not so much an argument, but let's get your men together, get your best men together, and let's go to town, you know. And there's a middle. There's a plane where they're doing this at, all right, where they have this party. All right, we're going to call it Armageddon, because I don't know the name of it, what they do. I didn't know the name of it, you know, but I didn't have it written down. I didn't write it down. But anyways, in the sacred place, where this battle is going down, is we get this, God damn it. Oh yeah, so we have it's between the two different families. We have the Pandavas, and that's the one that includes Krishna. That's the good side of it, I would say. But the other one is the Kauravas, and they're always flaunting their richness and all that stuff in the face of these poor guys, because Brahmins and stuff like that, they don't have a care for material things. All right. And so now they're on one side with their greatest, and there's one on the other side. And so who comes down? Who flies their chariot with that's bounded with this is the idea of the white horses and their bridles, and they're bridled up, and they got the chariot behind them, and it's carrying two people. It's pretty neat how this works. It's carrying Krishna, and it's carrying this Arjuna guy. He's the king on his side. And this Krishna, he says, I'm on both sides. Both sides have asked, what can I do? What should I do? And he's offered advice to both sides. And so whenever it comes down to it, and he says, pull me down right in the midst of them. They use the word midst and everything. That they come down into the midst. He's got the army on one side, and he's got the other army on the other side, and he's looking around, and he's seeing his family. All of these people are family. There's my grandfather. There's my great-great-grandfather. There's my father. There's my teacher. There's my wife's brother. There's all these things. It was, what's going on here? And this is called, I think he's having like second thoughts. But he's right there in the middle of this, and he's like, that's my family over there. And it's like, and I just don't feel it. My hand is growing numb, and the bow falls from his hands. He's dizzy. He says he can't seem to be able to grasp what's going on. But you have to understand that, this is the good side. Everything is supposed to be going down. He says, I just can't do this. I just can't do this. I don't feel like I'm going to gain anything by killing those guys because they're evil. I don't see they're my family. I don't see how it's going to work. Krishna comes in, and this is where Krishna does his talk. This is where he starts. He says, listen, dude, don't be a wimp. No, he's not doing that. He's actually being really sweet in this way. And then it goes on for a long time. This is where I'm going to draw the line at in the story. Because right now, they're in that place of pause. And this happens in a lot of stories that we get from the Hopi tribes. There's this place where there's this pause. And right now, everything is going to happen from the blowing of a conch horn, and they're all going to, everyone has their own conch horn that they got to blow, which is probably going to be the 7 chakras. And then as those things are gone, then the battle begins. But right now, a little bit of quietness as they're being Jesus or Krishna is telling him that you have to go through with this. And then after he tells them this part about you have to go through with this. We have to cleanse this other side. They have to be, and they're not really going to die. They're just going to be reborn and rebuilt and turned on. It's the same idea that we have on ours. It's exactly the same. It's the idea that it can be restored. It can be rebuilt. And there they are, both sides in this particular part of their story, wondering what's going to be so important about this fight. Well, when it all comes down to it, after Jesus or after Krishna tells them all these neat little things about the role of our soul, that our soul can't take knife, our body can take it, so our soul is just going to go find someplace else to live, but it's got to be birthed into the system, but he starts revealing all these wonderful secrets as he goes along the way, which is really cool. But right now, right now, he's contemplating whether or not this war between the opening up his left side and the right sides together, that is this worthy? Is this, I just feel so distraught in having to kill my kinsmen. All right. So this is another wonderful little play. Is all these stories are about your own family. It's about you or the product of you. It's not really about somebody else down the street or your next door neighbor, someone you don't know. It's about you. All of these things, and that makes them all family. Everybody, family, family. All both sides pitted against each other in some kind of a civil war situation. All right. So, real quick, I want to show you that there in Krishna culture and in Hinduism, there are 3 ways to get to this nirvana. All right. And they were saying that Krishna tries to bring all these different ways into just one way. Well, I'm here to tell you that Krishna makes them all one way. You have to. The first one is the karma yoga, which is the first way. It's called the works. The works. You have to do the works first. So that's, working out your karma. Are you a good boy and girl or whatever, right? Or just living life. All right. The second way is some kind of nanja yoga, or I don't know what I'm. Is that an I? Nana yoga, whatever. It's the second one. It's about knowledge. That's what I teach here. I give you the knowledge of God. So this is another direction. But this actually, because you're studying the Bible or studying religion, you start to see these little cracks, if you were, something like, you see a way in, like, oh yeah, I know what this is all about now, right? And then the third one is this bahaki. Well, it's about a union. It's about a love. Union is bring together. This is number 3. 3 in here is the joining together. All right. So we have our works, we have the knowledge, and then we have the union. Beautiful, beautiful. And this is the spirit of their Bible. All right. It's absolutely beautiful. The coolest shit on earth. All right. I just thought I'd share that with you guys, and I'll chat with you soon. All right.